guys, welcome back to Everyday Struggle. I am Nadeska. I'm here with Wayno and Akademiks. What's up, my friends? How you feeling today?
It's good with y'all, man. I'm feeling good.
Feel good,
I'm feeling great, actually.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk about what's going on in the world.
There is a lot going on in the world, my friend, and we have a lot of new music to talk about, but let's start with a conversation about cancel culture. So this is something we touched on when Yachty was on the show a few weeks ago. He said that because of cancel culture, a lot of celebrities that he knows, artists, just decide to say nothing at all because they think nothing good can come of it. So Cardi B, one of the most outspoken artists that we know, recently did an interview with Angie Martinez. So on the show, she admitted that she's had to stop herself from speaking her mind a lot or even defending people online because she's scared of also getting dragged by the internet. She says, you really got to watch what you say constantly and you can't even be free. It's like they took my voice away. It's interesting to hear from Cardi because it feels like she's still very outspoken. But when I spoke to her a few weeks ago, it was the same thing. She said she feels like every few weeks she wakes up to a Cardi is canceled party. What are your thoughts on cancel culture? Is it getting worse? Is it even effective? Or is it just the moment we're living in now?
I can speak to cancel culture. They try to cancel me.
All the time.
Well, most recently, they thought they really had one. But it's my mentality. It's my mentality where, we all want to condemn and burn someone at the stake for doing or saying something wrong. My only thing, and by the way, I do think cancel culture is needed. By the way, I think if I might be, let me know if I'm incorrect with this, but I felt cancel culture kind of came after we realized, certain people that we may have loved, as celebrities, they were doing some real fucked up shit and probably used their power as celebrity or whatever position of power they were in to probably oppress other people. And we realized at a certain point, you got to cancel them motherfuckers. Now, cancel culture has turned into like, you say something and you might be just a little bit ignorant, and rather than taking the time to actually educate you, it's just gonna be like, you're canceled. It's over. It's over. You know what I mean? So now it's like a witch hunt. Okay, so how can we get this person to lose their job? How can we get them to lose their livelihood, their freedom? Pretty much, it's a witch hunt for some of the things that in society you might just have to like school somebody. Like nobody wants to like actually teach. Everyone wants to cancel. But I will say when it comes to like Cardi B, that's when it kind of gets like really tricky because artists like Cardi B, super relatable, super down to earth, like people relate to them way more than a politician or anyone else you can imagine that has some high position of power, you can say even in politics. When Cardi B says something, she's representing a lot of people. And she might not know the best way to say it, but she's just speaking honestly, and it's not usually out of ill intent. And when she's scared of touching on certain subjects or even speaking at times because she's scared she might get canceled, it goes to show that, listen, man, cancel culture is a real thing that is definitely inhibiting and prohibiting free speech.
I feel that, but at the same time, I feel like what Tyler Creator said a couple years ago, turn that shit off. Like, turn your phone, like, get off the internet. You know what I mean? Like, get off the internet. The whole thing about cancel culture is I think that people try it with anything. It's like one day, like I said something on Twitter and I literally said, yo, I don't know. Can somebody tell me? And then everybody just wanted to tell me how stupid I was for not knowing something. I think that it just becomes like a fun thing for a lot of people. But with that being said, I don't know. I'm still kind of torn where I don't feel like the internet like affects my life in that capacity. Like there's gonna be tons of times where you're gonna get corrected about things, but ultimately that doesn't have an outcome on my personal total day. With Cardi, because she's such a massive star, like, yeah, but I think we in such a crazy time where it's like the phone is just so big of a part of our lives. I feel like that's what really made Megan Thee Stallion go the route she went. As far as like talking about what she was going through, because every time she opened up the phone, she had to keep seeing things and seeing things and seeing things and feel the pressure of just type words to be able to vent. But when it comes to this whole cancel culture shit, it's like, yeah, it works when we see some racist person do some more bullshit and we want to, find out who they are so that we can voice our opinions to them or affect their lives. But it backfires. It backfires a lot because I think that people don't know how to differentiate the two when it comes to just normal life because they're living on this phone so much.
Hey, this is the worst part about it right here. Everybody is probably you're eligible to be canceled because also you also have to realize like what's normalized culture updates all the time. Like it was very popular for rappers. Shit, Tyler Creator himself was doing it. They were dropping the F word referring to homosexuals and gays in their raps all the time. If a rapper does that now, you're canceled for the most part.
Yeah,
You
but
get
you
me?
just figure out different words to say.
No, but what I'm saying is that cancel culture will dig up your past,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like some shit that not saying it was acceptable, but it felt commonplace at the time, right? People will dig up the past and be like, "Oh, remember Wayno used to be talking like this, right? Let's cancel this nigga."
Yeah,
So sometimes it's really selective. Cancel culture gets really toxic when it's the way to target the people you don't like.
right.
So if I don't like you, I'm gonna look up anything problematic that you have said, you have done, even if it's past. And also, truth be told, like sometimes even with this Mega Stallion thing, right?
Mm.
Mega Stallion Tory Lanez thing, right? It's obviously a very bad situation. We see something where a male assaulted a female that could quickly go into some domestic violence stuff, but also people that have kind of paid their debt to society, been through their own trials and tribulations, and you know they got knocked down a couple rungs, and socially they got handled. Every single time some new shit happened, they get back. It's like they're getting recanceled again too. So it's a really tricky thing. But
yeah, sometimes it doesn't feel so. Like the Cardi example, if there's a Cardi is canceled party every few weeks, she's still really doing well. She's a #1 record, not really working. So here's an example that's outside of hip hop that I've been watching closely over the past few weeks. Ellen. I don't know if you guys have seen any of this. I think someone said Ellen is not a nice person. She's not this character she pretends to be. And the outcry got so loud, they did an investigation on her set. I think a few of the producers got outed. So sometimes the cry does get so loud that companies feel like they need to take action, and sometimes it just sort of fizzles away.
I just look at it now that like with this whole cancel culture thing, there's no opportunity for a person to like be remorseful or learn, and not specifically on the Ellen thing. It's just like, yeah, when I first got on Twitter, like I probably said all types of shit, but like in society, we're always about progression and learning and growing and healing and becoming the bigger person one day. But I can't say, yeah, I said that when I said that I was 10 years younger. I wasn't going through certain things in my life. I might have said that just being funny. People don't want to hear it, and that's the problem I have with the internet, because it's like any word you say, like everybody acts like they've never said no dumb shit before, whether you on the internet or not. You know what I'm saying? Like we've all had things in our past, and it's just like, okay, if I said something that might offend somebody, then educate me about myself at that time. But if I'm telling you right now, like, yo, I didn't know that, they like, nah, that's how you really feel. And once like Ax said, once it becomes a mob mentality thing, then nobody wants to hear anything, and nobody wants to give you the opportunity to grow from it. And that's the shit I really don't like about it.
Ellen was a good. Thank you for that point, Nadeska. Ellen was pretty much the signaling of the peak of this cancel culture shit. No one is safe. You have a white woman who's also in the LGBTQ community, and usually when we think about cancellations, it's usually dudes who are being either misogynistic or they're abusing their power or this and third. Usually, you know what I mean? Well, sometimes they're white, but most times they ain't white, and also most times they're also being, you know what I mean, homophobic, transphobic, one of the many phobias that deals with the LGBTQ community. We thought Ellen was like safe, like she's checked off all the boxes where she's usually like a victim of somebody else that's saying something or doing something that probably they need to be canceled, and they try to cancel her. We're at the peak of the shit. Nobody's safe. Everybody could get canceled, and I think this is where that little whole little social justice warrior movement on Twitter. That's where you gotta take a step back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, listen, certain shit is redeemable. Okay, certain shit is not, and the problem is who makes the differentiation between the two.
The people on Twitter all fucking day like that. That's the best of the part. Is like, and for the most part, like them people, they come together to just. That's another thing I see. They come together to just try to find shit on people.
And yo, speaking about Cardi, I could tell why Cardi so what even Cardi's talking about, one of the many things, they do this cancellation party for every week, right? Cardi said eons ago, right? While she was, just being a funny personality, she was like, hey, yo, I used to, like when I was at the strip club with dudes, I used to like put something in their drink or whatever. And she was trying to be funny, But of course, in that time, it might have been a funny, like little bit while she's like just on Instagram trying to tell jokes. As time has evolved, and of course she's now famous, people are looking at her like, yeah, that's not funny no more. And they use the slightest things to like, hold over her head, and it's usually fans of people that don't like her. So the Barbs are using the Cardi B drugged men shit. So now she don't even feel like, of course, like that joke is still inappropriate, right? But like she don't even want to say some shit that people could later use. Yes, it makes you a little bit like you're almost like a politician. You got to watch your words.
Yeah. When rappers become almost like politicians, what is the music anymore? Like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, I guess mob mentality has existed since the beginning of humankind and will always exist. So I guess it's just like seeing.
That's how they got Jesus out of here, man. I'm serious.
Yeah. I guess you're right. They've been burning people at the stake. I guess Twitter is probably the mildest form of it, although it's still pretty terrible. But it's just a shame.
Twitter is the leading form.
No, I'm just saying if you consider like centuries of humans torturing each other and killing each other, it's relatively mild but still terrible. But let's see. Let us get into some new music. So we didn't get to talk about this song yesterday. For Hit, Brick, or Wait on It, we're going to start with Pharrell featuring Jay-Z, Entrepreneur, produced by the Neptunes. They dropped a really dope video to go with the song, which I think gives it a lot more context. What do you guys feel about this one?
I'm gonna just say wait on it to be nice. To keep it real, this was a TED Talk in song format.
You don't
cool
like
as
TED
a song.
Talks?
No, I do like TED Talks. Cool as a song, but really, when Hov gets on a track, he's kicking that information stuff, which is very useful. But is it dope as a song? Like, man, I ain't playing this again. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you kicked the knowledge the first time. I got the knowledge the first time, and I'm not going to the seminar the second. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just say, wait on it. I gotta give the respect and modest to my man Pharrell as well. Always good to see both of them link up.
Yeah, ironically, I agree with Ak. I think that this song is pretty mid.
Turn that hat around. I can't be a Rock Nation hat you got on. I
think that the song is pretty. Now, on the other hand, the video is amazing. I think that the video was really, really dope. The video, talking about education, shows so many different Black entrepreneurs, men and women, that are doing so many amazing things that I had no idea about. So that was dope. But as far as the record is like, like it's not. Everybody was saying like, yo, Jay's dropping a record today. Nas drops his album. He's trying to crush his album with this record. Impossible with that record.
And it's a Pharrell song. To be
it's a Pharrell song. But it's like Pharrell only. I don't know. It's a weird structure of a record. That's a.
Yo, y'all niggas know. Wayno's check must be laid up at Rock Nation. I deserve to pay this nigga, okay? we on Tuesday.
You the worst, man.
All right, guys. So we finally have a confirmed release date for Detroit 2, new project from Big Sean. Highly anticipated, I would say. We got a new single last night. Big Sean featuring Nipsey Hussle, Deep Reverence, produced by Hit Boy, audio anthem, and more.
I mean, hit. I'll say hit. As far as like it's hitting for me. Hit Boy is on a tear right now. Like I didn't know that he was just going to say fuck it, I'm gonna fuck the whole summer up. Right before it's over. But yeah, this is really good. It's good to hear Nipsey. Haven't heard nothing new from him in a long time. I think since like Rick Ross's album. So it's good to hear a new verse, from Nipsey. And then Big Sean, I think what's gonna make this record really good is that Big Sean's vulnerability. He's talking about a lot of things he's been going through in life, and over the past years we haven't seen him, as much. We all speculated because he's released music that wasn't up to our standards of Big Sean, and we questioning what he's going through. I think he's going to really tap into that on this album. So hit for this, and I can't wait for Friday to hit this Detroit too.
I think this record. I think this record is going to work for what Big Sean. By the way, Detroit 2. If you listen to the Detroit mixtape, it was a mixtape at that point. He was going crazy with the lyrics. It's a little. It's if you compare that to our Dark Sky Paradise, format is different. So if we're thinking about Detroit 2, even though it's not an album, I'm really expecting him to get into a lot of the content that he really gave in his verse. Yo, he gave us an album length of stuff that you could dive into on many different songs on just one song. Whether it's with dealing with miscarriage, whether it's with mending certain relationships, and you mentioned suicide. Like we had, we obviously knew he was going through stuff, and he shared that on Instagram at times. But a lot of the conversation when we start talking about rap here, I used to say, yo, where is he? Where is he? You know what I mean? He's opening up a lot more. I think the content alone on this song, I've always been a fan of rappers allowing themselves to live to then bring forth and have something to rap about, not rapping to rap. And it's clearly Big Sean has lived, and his what we might call an absent, even though he still says on his verse, he ain't take a goddamn day off, right? Clearly in his mind and how he's putting it out is that he has a lot to talk about. So I'm excited for the Detroit too. This is gonna be a lot of content. I could tell, a lot of content.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Our next one is Travis Scott, The Plan. So this song I heard for the first time during that 10-minute long preview for that movie that's coming up, or show, Tenet, during an NBA game. What do you guys think about this record?
For this one, honestly, wait on it. I'm not really impressed by this record. I mean, it starts off, the beat is pretty cool, but as far as the record, it doesn't really do much for me coming from Travis. It just seems like a throwaway.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. Travis getting too much money. Mail this one in. Not gonna lie, this is between Reggie and Mid. I can't even lie to you. Okay, this joint sound like a reject reference track for 808s and Heartbreaks. The beat was kind of confusing. He started getting on.
Where did you get all of that from?
For real, you ain't hear the beat? The beat sounds like some reject 808 and Heartbreaks type beat. He's kind of crooning but not saying shit. This was bad, Travis. Bad. This is the wrong record for us to be talking about after all them goddamn reference tracks just leaked. You need to come out with a banger. Okay?
Well, I'm excited for this Tenet movie, but this record, man.
Yeah, and this is why I'm gonna give him a pass, because usually, when it comes to movie soundtracks, you submit songs in advance and send 30 when it's coming out. It's based on the schedule of the movie. Cool. Bad. Okay.
All right. Well, maybe it was less of a single and more just to be for the movie, because in the trailer, I guess it sort of makes more sense, the beat and the tempo. Okay. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Obviously, he got a big check for this song. Shout out to him. Can't ever be mad at that. All right, this next one is
we shout out the checks though? Oh my God! What are we doing here?
What's wrong with the checks?
The song is mid. We shout out the check though? Oh hell no!
All right, Busta Rhymes featuring Vybz Kartel, The Boss and the Don. So this is going to be on Busta's upcoming album, Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God. DJ
Akademiks.
Yo, listen, man, I got the Bob Marley shirt on, man. You already know what time it is. Listen, not my favorite Busta song, clearly, but because he has my favorite artist of all time. This is facts. On the record, Vybz Kartel. I absolutely have to say, this is fire. I ain't gonna hold you. Well, Vybz Kartel doesn't miss. By the way, Vybz Kartel's incarcerated. I just want to give the magnitude and scope of him even getting the song out. Vybz Kartel's been incarcerated since 2011. He had to go get a guy who's currently serving a life sentence to record a verse for the song. When if you know anything about Vybz Kartel's career, the boss and the Don, that means has more meaning than just what the words say. So I enjoy it. I don't know if it's gonna work as a hit on US mainstream level, but hearing Vybz Kartel any single time, I'm always a fan.
All Akademiks, all that's cool and all that, but that shit is not it. It's a break. I just want to be the one to tell you, all that explaining, and I got the Bob Marley shirt on, and whatever, nigga. That song is not it. It's a brick. I'm just keeping it 100 with you.
This nigga Wayno don't like nothing about immigrants, other countries, or nothing. Look at this guy, man.
That is no. That's
all right. That's true, but
no, y'all not gonna run with that because y'all know I done told y'all my mother's side of my family.
All right, listen, guys. For the record, Wayno does like immigrants. He just shamed them a little bit growing up, so he would have been the kid making fun of me for saying tree when I was in junior high school, trying to get rid of that accent.
People's accents. He's the guy who was just running around like, yo, wait, speak your language, bumble clock. Like that's the guy right there.
That is not true, Akademiks.
No,
That is not true at all. But yeah, that song is like, come on, stop it. Like, stop it. I know Vybz Kartel is your man, your favorite artist and all that, but that shit is not a good record. Just keep it a bit.
Not because Vybz Kartel does.
Right, see, not because of Vybz Kartel. All right, let's move on.
All right, just a couple more quick things before we go. NBA Youngboy recently announced his next album, Top, and he posted the album cover, which upset some fans. Hopped on, Twitter, saying that the artwork looked very similar to Roddy Ricch's cover art for "Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial." So Roddy seemed to address this in something he tweeted and then deleted. He said it's only one Roddy, noted that he's cool with Youngboy, and added, "Don't make it about him. I'm just tired of all this comparing shit."
Yeah, I didn't like this whole scenario only because it's like, again, here we go with social media trying to pit people against each other. I don't think that NBA Youngboy, like, I've been doing some more research on NBA Youngboy, and I'm starting to like him more. I'm really starting to like him more, and I don't think that, no disrespect to Roddy, even though as big as of an artist that Roddy is, NBA Youngboy kind of lives in his own world. And when I seen the cover, I didn't think like, oh shit, he just took his shit. I didn't think that at all. You know what I'm saying? And then you see like social media trying to pit them against each other. Roddy's doing his thing, Youngboy's doing their thing. They both young dudes in the game that's killing it, and we don't need that. Like we don't need that type of bullshit, you know. But overall, it's like it just was a whack moment on social media.
I'm surprised that Roddy Ricch, a guy who usually says nothing on social media, he's not one to feed into shit like this. I'm surprised he felt the need to respond to that. I think that's what made it the story. Fans are gonna always compare. Looking at that, by the way, I get why people might make the comparison, but this is why sometimes people got to educate themselves on the artist who you think is copying or whatever another artist. NBA Youngboy, the same picture. By the way, he's 20 now. He's taking that same picture about every damn year. It's like his yearly yearbook picture, a little black and white joint looking kind of sad. He's done that continuously. Now, has it been an album cover? No. And I, of course, get it that the black and white picture was like, Roddy Ricch's album cover, but nobody owns the IP to black and white pictures, okay? They don't make the same type of music, okay? Both are in their own world, and I think that's where it begins and ends. I'm just glad it didn't get to, sometimes miscommunication could happen over an artist actually responding to internet, like, comparisons or whatever. Youngboy could have been screaming at his phone 1,000,000 miles per hour. You know how he get down. So I'm glad that didn't happen, and I hope they probably communicated behind the scenes. I know Youngboy's in LA recently recording this album, so hopefully they touch base because it's never that serious.
Yeah, glad it ended that quickly. Now, guys, on a more serious note, before we leave, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to what's happening in Wisconsin. A lot of protests are happening right now. So despite everything we've already seen this year with George Floyd getting murdered by cops, it's still happening, and there's more video footage. So on Sunday, a 29-year-old black man named Jacob Blake was shot by police in Wisconsin. In the video footage, you see multiple cops following him to the car. Then one officer grabs him and shoots about 7 times in his back. And now his 3 kids were in the car. His brother said he had surgery, and he's currently in intensive care. It's just the kind of thing that I'm sure the cops would have tried to explain away if there was no video footage, but it's just absolutely horrifying to see this still happening.
Yeah, it was really, just digging into the story, they said that he was breaking up a fight between 2 women. So it's like for him to not be an aggressor in a situation and trying to kind of diffuse some violence that's going on in the neighborhood, that's the result. Man's walking away. You know what I mean? And even with him walking away, I seen somebody tweet like three police officers can't subdue 1 person without firing a shot. It's just me as a black man, it just makes me a little bit hopeless when it comes to going outside sometimes. It's like when I'm going right around the corner to go to the supermarket, it makes me question, if I'm stopped or pulled over, or if I may get into an argument with somebody, what's going to be my outcome, of my life. And it's real troubling, to see some shit like that. I didn't know that his children were in the car. Like that just messed me up just now, knowing that.
It's so sad and unfortunate because I get sent these videos all the time, and I remember saying to a few people who sent it, I was like, is this new? Like, because like you're so desensitized. Like you feel like you see it all the time. You're like, and also you have that thing saying, we just went through like George Floyd. Like, no way this is still, this can't, no way. And watching the video, like there's so many big themes that you see. If you ever question or have yourself or know someone who questions why people outside marching, rioting, is because you see a dude walking with his back turned. They know he's unarmed at the time. I get it. They might be thinking he's gonna go get a weapon, but all y'all is so scared that not one of y'all can tackle him, and it's 3-on-1. Tackle him before. If you think he's gonna get a weapon, tackle him before he gets the weapon. What about all the taser shit that everybody said? Oh yeah, officers got tasers. His back is turned. If you think he's about to go get a weapon, taser him. You don't have to shoot him. But again, this is where the police sometimes, more than lack of training, you could tell the gun is usually what's evening out their fears or whatever's going through their own minds when they come in contact with an African American, usually male. You get me? They ain't trying to be like, you know what? I don't want to tackle this motherfucker. He overpowered me. You know what? Let me just keep my gun trained on him. And if I feel threatened, I already let off. You know what I mean? Well, of course, once those bullets get fired, you can't bring it back.
Well, my biggest thing also is, I mean, and we didn't get a chance to see that, but what's the conversation before that even happened? You know what I mean? Like, if this is a situation where this man is diffusing a fight between two other people, what's the conversation y'all are having with him that leads him to say, you know what, I'm gonna just walk off from y'all? You know, like, how is that going? Where's the training of speaking? Because even with a taser, I mean, you know, this is the thing. Even if it doesn't matter. He's walking away. If he's walking away, he's not a threat to somebody. You know,
if he's being detained, we don't know. Yeah, because I'm only seeing the video. If he's being detained, you can't walk away.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. We don't know what the conversation was prior to that to make him. Because I've been in a situation before where I walked off from a police officer. You know, fortunately enough, I didn't have that same outcome, but it got really aggressive when I decided to walk off. But that's only because having a dialogue with them, they weren't trying to hear nothing I was saying. You know what I mean? And I wasn't in the wrong with anything. So all I'm saying is this is like, if the man is walking off, you know, what happened prior, you know, and with everything that's going on, why is it going this way? And then not only this, there's another video circulating around of this young, I think he might be a Mexican kid. A cop is kneeling on his forehead, literally has his knee like on his forehead and his back. I mean, the back of his head is on the ground. So it's like, I think that, you know, there's no real lessons learned. After all of this happening, I had no trust or faith in law enforcement, to keep it honest.
Some of the big themes constantly keep, you know, repeating and rearing their ugly heads in terms of like, yo, if let's assume he was breaking up a fight. Let's assume that's his neighborhood. If these guys are supposed to be peace officers, not killers. You get me? Like, you guys are supposed to be able to show up, diffuse the situation, and seek alternative options, not only come to arrest niggas and shoot it out. You know, and it feels like the police, because they're in these communities, that they really don't give a fuck about community outreach and try to get to know, you know what I mean, the people who they're policing. It's so combative that shit gonna get left real quick. You know what I mean? Like, again, you don't even have that type of rapport that maybe if that existed, whatever you were saying to him, maybe he wouldn't walk off. Or you wouldn't feel that threatened if he was walking off. That you would have to, you know what I mean? So again, there's so many things missing, but we also keep seeing in different cases say, damn, how y'all are policing these neighborhoods? Y'all don't have no type of like people training. Right. You know what I mean? Like, y'all got gun training, y'all got all type of training, the foot on the neck training, y'all got not one goddamn, you know, ounce of training in terms of deal with people diffusing a situation. Yeah. It's like basically Trump is the new fucking cop. Like, fuck the people part of it. It's just extreme shit.
Yeah, I don't even think that they have gun training, because a gun is not supposed to come out unless your life is threatened or somebody else's life is threatened. And I mean, a person walking away from you isn't threatening your life. So, you know, I mean, I just leave it there.
Yeah, no, you guys make great points. The de-escalation is what they should be practicing, community outreach. There's a lot of like police reform we need to do. I know a few months ago there was the big call to defund the police and people got outraged about what that meant, but I think we can all agree that we still need reform. Like, that's really important. And look, guys, as we get closer to the elections, It's really, really, really important to cast your vote. You know what I mean? This is how we can make a difference. But in the meantime, people are out there protesting and making their voices heard, which is also very, very important.
And by the way, I also want to shout. I forgot the officer's name, or I guess former officer, but it was a African American dude. He had recorded a video after the George Floyd situation. He said, "Yo, this is unacceptable. If I was there, this is not going down." And every officer that was there, they need to be accountable for why they aren't checking their coworker and saying, "Nah, that you're going too far. We're here to do a job. We're not here to go above and beyond, and try to hurt and kill people." And he was terminated from his job. You know,
Right.
we don't know if it has anything to do with that, but come on, we ain't done, right?
Yeah.
I saw there was a GoFundMe and everything for him. I hope he lands at a precinct that could understand that through those videos, that's like, it might seem like he's going against his coworkers, but that's how you actually, when someone sees him in the community, they're gonna have a conversation with him. You get me? Before
Yeah.
things go left.
Well, yeah.
That's important.
I mean, we're human rights, man. We just want rights as humans. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy out here. But that brother, his GoFundMe was well exceeded his expectations. So hopefully, you know, he's doing better.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't seen this, go check it out. It's important to pay attention to everything that's going on. Thank you for watching Everyday Struggle, and we'll see you here tomorrow on Complex.